Good morning, all of you. I hope you all are sound and safe at your places. Take good care of yourselves, and I welcome you all in your science tutorials after a summer break. I hope you have finished your previous work and you have completed your work. We have already completed chapter number 1, 2, and 3. Today we are going to start up with chapter number 5, that is coal and petroleum. The name is telling us that in this chapter we are going to discuss about some of the natural resources, that is coal and petroleum particularly, and we will also discuss the need of their conservation and what are the steps which is required for their conservation. So I hope you will enjoy this chapter. Stay with us, stay safe at your places, and let us start doing this chapter. So, this is about coal and petroleum. In this chapter, we are going to discuss what are resources, what are natural resources, how these natural resources are being classified, and what is the importance of coal and petroleum for us, how we obtain it, and how we are going to conserve it, and what is the need of their conservation. So, this is about this chapter introduction. Now let us start discussing this chapter in detail. Now the first topic that we are going to discuss is resources. Can you tell me what are these resources? These resources make our life comfortable. From these resources we fulfill our basic needs. What are these resources? These are the things or material like food, clothes, furniture, fuels, water, and vehicles. So these are the resources. And what are the natural resources? The resources that we obtain from the nature like air, water, fuels, etc. So food, clothes and furniture made by human efforts. Rest all this air, water, fuels we obtain it from nature. These are natural resources. Now we have two types of classification, that is natural resources are classified into inexhaustible and exhaustible. Then exhaustible resources is further classified into renewable and non-renewable. Now the question arises that on what basis they are classified. They are classified on the basis of their abundance and availability, in how much amount they are present and how much easily they are available to us. So these are classified into exhaustible and inexhaustible. Before moving to its definition and examples, we must understand the meaning of exhaustible. Exhaust means finished. So these resources are present in limited quantity and they are likely to be finished over a certain period of time by human activities. इसका एग्जाम्पल होगा फॉरेस्ट, वाइल्ड लाइफ, minerals, coal, petroleum and natural gas. And the another way, inexhaustible means which will not be exhausted. They are present in unlimited quantity, in large amount they are present, and they are not likely to be exhausted by human activities. For example, sunlight, air and water. So now these are exhaustible and inexhaustible resources. So exhaustible means that will be exhaust, and inexhaustible means they will not be exhausted because they are present in unlimited quantity. We have already discussed the examples in inexhaustible resources. We can have sunlight, air, water, rainfall, clay, sand, etc. And in exhaustible natural resources, we have forest, wildlife, minerals, coal, petroleum, and natural gas. Now after that we have exhaustible natural resources are further classified into two types, that is renewable and non-renewable. So exhaustible are two types, the resources which can replenish themselves by quick recycling and replacement within a reasonable time period. It is called renewable, which can be renewed by itself if managed properly. These resources are therefore not likely to be exhausted. For example, soil, forest, wildlife. But if they are used unwisely and they are used excessively, then these can also be exhausted. So the resources which cannot replenish themselves by quick recycling and replacement within a reasonable time period, they are non-renewable resources. And once they are used, they are lost forever. For example, coal, petroleum and natural gas. Now the next topic that we are going to discuss is about the fuels. What are fuels? These are the substances which when burned give us some energy, give us heat, give us power. The remains of dead plants and animals buried under the earth millions of years ago, these are called fossils. Fossils क्या होंगे? These are the remains of dead plants and animals. And these are coal and petroleum. When we burn these resources, they are known as fossil fuels. So now we will discuss about the fossil fuels. So let us start with coal. See, it is a hard as stone and it is black in color. It is found deep inside coal mines. I'll show you the coal mine, how it looks. This is a coal mine where we found coal. And it is mainly found in Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Odisha and Madhya Pradesh. And big coal mines in our country are at Jaria and Bokaro in Jharkhand and Raniganj at West Bengal. So the question arises, how is coal formed? By what process it is formed? It is formed by the process of carbonization. And what is carbonization? It is a very slow process, very slow chemical process basically, where we convert the dead vegetation into coal. And this whole process takes place under the influence of very high temperature and pressure. It is called carbonization. Now, what is the components of coal? It, along with carbon, it is having hydrogen, oxygen and small amount of nitrogen and sulfur also. Now we will discuss about its uses. It is used in railway engines to produce steam to run the engines, and it is used in many houses in villages as fuels to cook food in chulhas. It is used in thermal power plants to produce electricity, and it is used in many industries to produce organic compounds such as phenol, benzene, toluene, etc. And it is also used in industries to manufacture various compounds like coal tar, ammoniacal liquid, coal gas, and these all things we get it by the destructive distillation of coal. We will discuss this in detail in the next topic, but before that we should start up with the formation of coal. How coal is formed? We know that it is formed by the process of carbonization. Now we'll discuss this process in detail. See, huge forest grew over 300 million years ago. There has a dense forest. Some due to natural calamities, natural disasters like earthquake, flooding, volcanoes, these all forests got buried under the soil. As more and more soil get deposited over them, they are compressed, means they are just contracted, and the temperature also rose as they sank deeper and deeper. Under high pressure and temperature, these plants get slowly converted into coal. First they convert it into peat, which is having less than 60% carbon. After that it get more compressed and between the sediment layers to form the lignite coal, which has 60 to 70% of the carbon. After that, the further compression results in the formation of bituminous coal, and its percentage is 70 to 80% carbon. And at the last, eventually anthracite coal is formed, which is having more than 90% carbon, and it is the best variety of coal. So which one is the best variety of coal? It is anthracite. Now we will discuss about the destructive distillation of coal. Now this is destructive distillation of coal. This is a process which takes place in the absence of air and results into the formation of components of coal, that is coke, coal tar, ammoniacal liquor and coal gas. So what we need to do is we need to heat up the powdered coal in absence of air, and we need such kind of setup which is shown in figure. We need a Bunsen burner, we need a test tube, we need a cork, we need a conical flask, we need to have a delivery tube. So we need a stand, a boiling tube, water, finely powdered coal, conical flask, Bunsen burner and a delivery tube. We have to take a small amount of powdered coal in a boiling tube and water in a conical flask. We have to set up the apparatus as shown in figure, and we need to heat the powdered coal with the help of Bunsen burner. Now we will discuss its observation. When you heat the powdered coal, we observe the formation of dark brownish grey vapors, and some of the carbon present in these vapors is solidified near the mouth of the boiling tube, and it is known as gas carbon. This vapors escapes into the conical flask through delivery tube, which is already containing water, and they form two different layers. Top layer contains clear liquid, this is ammoniacal liquor, and lower layer it contains thick black liquid, which is coal tar. A colorless gas called coal gas is obtained, and it is a mixture of hydrogen, carbon monoxide, methane and ethylene, and it is bubbled out from the flask, and some residue is left behind in the boiling tube, that is coke. So what we have got, by the strong heating of powdered coal in the absence of air, we have got coke, coal tar, ammoniacal liquor and coal gas. So destructive distillation process of coal produce coke, gas carbon, coal tar, ammoniacal liquor and coal gas. So this is about the destructive distillation of coal. Now we will discuss about the products that we have got from the destructive distillation of coal in detail. So first of all, we have got the coke, which is a tough, porous and greyish black substance. It is obtained by the destructive distillation of coal, and it is almost the pure form of carbon. It contains 98% carbon. What are its uses? It is used as an essential raw material for the iron and steel industry to heat the furnace. It is also used as a reducing agent in the extraction of metals from their ores. And it is also used for the manufacture of producer gas. You know what is producer gas? It is a mixture of CO and N2. And water gas, it is a mixture of CO plus H2. Okay, so it is used in the manufacture of producer gas and water gas. The next component is coal tar. You are well aware, you have already seen somewhere also. It is a black, thick, you can say viscous also. It is a viscous liquid and whose smell is not good, not pleasant to us. That's why we call it with an unpleasant smell. It contains about 200 substances. Okay, mixture of 200 substances. Coal tar can be separated into many important chemical substances. And that chemical substances are named as toluene, benzene and naphthalene. Okay. And what is the process involved? By the process of fractional distillation, we can obtain these substances. And these all substances are used as a starting material for manufacturing dyes, explosives, paints, varnishes, pesticides, plastics, synthetic fibers, photographic plates, etc. Now, next topic is coal gas. Next one is coal gas. Coal gas is obtained by the similar process that we are discussing, that is destructive distillation of coal itself. And it consists of 3 combustible gases which can burn to give us heat, power and energy. That is hydrogen, methane and carbon monoxide. It is having high calorific value, as both hydrogen and methane have high calorific values. Now the question arises, what is calorific value? Calorific value means when a gram of fuel is taken and we burn it, it gives us some amount of heat. That is its calorific value. So when we burn these gram of coal gas, it gives a high heat, high amount of energy. That is why it is said to have high calorific value. It burns to produce heat, due to which it is acting as an excellent fuel. And the next compound is ammonium compounds. During destructive distillation of ammonium coal, ammonium compounds are produced. And when they are dissolved in water, they form ammoniacal liquid. And this substance particularly is used in the manufacture of nitrogenous compounds. I hope you have understood this topic. We have discussed the fossil fuels. We have discussed coal basically today. In the tomorrow's class, we will discuss about petroleum. Till then, stay home, stay safe. Bye-bye all of you. Take good care of yourselves and revise this topic carefully. Bye all of you. Thank you.